Okay, I'm here with Sophie.
Right.
Sophie Digby, aka Charlotte Sophia Digby, aka
the Yak.
founder of the Yak, co-founder.
Yeah, wasn't that a good idea? Wasn't that? That was quite a good idea considering it came from a Bloody Mary through a bloody long straw. Yeah, that was interesting times. Just a bit like these ones, right, Nige?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we have to come up with new ideas like this one, which is obviously podcast by the Yak, powered by Bintang
And
Cristal.
Cristal. Fleety's just delivered the beers. We're here at Double Espresso Studios, which is in the middle of Kuta. It's actually behind the store. It's in the store building, which is like a massive ship. And we're next to Bounty, are we?
Kind of up that way. But not. I don't know what's quite next door. I mean, it's kind of just down from the memorial, the bomb memorial.
Bali bomb, yeah.
Yeah, the Bali bomb memorial. It's kind of right in the centre of town. It's quite nice right now because you can park and there's no traffic.
That's right. Yeah. So Sophie, how long have we known each other?
God, actually, I think the first was a phone call. You were living up in Ubud, so obviously the days when that you just wrote your book about. I remember talking to you, and there was a cock crowing in the background, and I was living in a house near the beach, and I could hear the waves crashing. I'm saying it was so unprofessional, but I'm sure we tried to sound very professional. It was about that would have been about 1997.
Probably a bit earlier.
Yeah, no, I don't think, because I came in 96.
Did you?
Yeah, I came March 96.
From where?
From Jakarta. Moved from Jakarta.
Right. What were you doing there?
Yeah. Well, I gave up my job for a year. I just lived in Jakarta, and I realised I'm not a city girl, and I'd just come from working for World Eye Reports for the Japan Times.
Oh yeah.
You know, countrywide economical reports, basic advertising.
Selling advertising.
Yeah. Supplements. I made quite a lot of money that year. Actually, $1 million for my boss.
For your boss.
Yeah, got 30 grand.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, no,
Don't
right.
we love capitalism?
Don't we? Oh, well, she had 5 teams around the world, so
right.
she was making quite a lot of money. Gina, from the Philippines.
Right.
Gina the Filipina.
Shout out to Gina.
Hi, Gina. Hope you're okay, babe.
So you were flogging advertising to the ministries, I guess, and stuff. Then it would have been in the 90s, yeah.
Yeah, and the conglomerates. You know,
Right.
Bimantara, Ciputra, Jaya. You know, basically all the conglomerates. So anything. I went to see everybody that had an interest, trying to get Japanese investment or transfer of technology or research and development.
Right.
And the Japanese are really quite strong here, especially in the pharmaceutical industry.
Right. So then, did you move to? You came on holiday to Bali like everybody else? Is that the thing?
Well, I was working in Jakarta, and I got given a weekend by one of those conglomerates. So I came down and stayed at Discovery.
Did you have like one of those moments that we've probably all had? Those that have stayed here a long time?
No.
No, just
no. I had a moment that I didn't want to be in Jakarta, and
Right.
that Bali was here, and I'd come to Bali a couple of times, and I kind of had that. I've now given up my job. I've lived in Jakarta for a year. Don't know really what to do, but I do know how to sell. I do know how to write. And I came. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was an annoying thing. Actually, I came to Bali and I missed an Eddie Grant concert. I think it was.
Eddie Grant.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, in 1990, and that would have been in 94, 95. And I missed a massive ceremony, like a Dewa Saraya ceremony that happens only once every 25 years.
Right.
And I just got annoyed with the lack of information of
About
what's happening this week. There was none of that. We had beautiful magazines.
Yeah.
You had Latitudes, you had Hello Bali, you had all those really nice, beautiful editorial,
Right.
but nobody had a calendar of events.
So you had an idea when you came to Bali to start a business, right? I mean, that was a print business.
I already had it designed before I moved to Bali. So
Right,
we designed it already in Jakarta.
Right.
Did a layout, wrote it, sent it up to the Ministry of Communications
Right.
for censoring.
Okay.
Right, so it got censored.
Yeah.
They speak 256 dialects in this country, not languages.
Wow.
Note to self.
Didn't know that.
And they changed it from offal for Padang food. They changed it from offal to innards, and I went, way to go. But that was interesting. So it all definitely got approved, which was great.
This is like some
96,
Amex.
97.
Was it an Amex magazine or something you did?
No, this was just Bali Plus.
Bali Plus, right?
Plus,
Bali.
yeah,
Shout out to Bali Plus, of course,
yeah,
and
Bali
Mr.
Plus.
Hendra. Yeah.
So I did that with Hendra.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Back in '96, we came in March and printed first issue July '96. Came out with the Japanese version in August.
Right.
had it printed here in Bali. That was a mistake.
Who did the proofreading for the Japanese?
Well, we had Sanai writing it. Sanai.
Oh, really?
In Sanod, yeah.
You're joking.
She was writing it. She was translating.
Right.
So basically, it was actually totally.
Shout out to Sanai.
Yeah, exactly right.
Wow.
And Yumi and Kumi and all those people. What was really interesting, I think, was that we had a Japanese version within a month.
Yeah.
And all those people that said, we'll advertise if you have a Japanese version, didn't advertise. So, one of those things. It's a Bali thing, right, isn't it? If only you did, I'd do it. And then when you do, they don't do it.
So what about the, let's just kind of backtrack a bit. So your early years, you've got quite an interesting family, I think. We've known each other for a while, so I've had a few chats and stuff about your dad. Tell us about your dad,
Uncle Woodstock. A racing driver back in the 50s, right? Built his own car when he was 16. And had a few race cars actually. Won the laundry bowl at Goodwood, I think. Gave up driving actually. I think before I was born. I think my mother put her foot down and said no more racing.
Right.
It was super dangerous in those days. I mean, if you look at how many people in the 60s just literally killed themselves.
Yeah, they burst into flames, those cars.
Scary. And the 70s, right? And then safety started kicking.
So you sort of grew up on some kind of racetrack, did you?
No, I think we just grew on really big properties with long drives.
Really?
So really long drives, like big long drives.
And then what cars did he have in the driveway?
Well, he definitely had, he loved a Citroen.
Okay.
Right,
that would have been the big one.
You could jack it up, right, and then basically you could fill it with wine in the back.
Okay.
So could really go shopping.
Yeah.
He had Citroens. We had BMW. He had a Mustang. So I did that on my eye.
Really?
We had a convertible.
So this we're talking about
Mustang,
we're talking about the 70s, are we?
60s, 70s, definitely 70s. When you had the big tapes. You had Mama Cass.
Yeah.
Mamas and the Papas and those big, what do they call those big?
Yeah, I forget, but they were ridiculous, weren't they?
8-tracks,
in the car.
In the car, yeah.
So what about?
And we had a Volkswagen bus, which is where we used to go to Morocco in.
You went to Morocco in a Volkswagen bus.
Yes.
There we go.
And a Beetle.
Didn't know that.
Combi. With the governess, right? So we had to do lessons. So we never stopped doing lessons.
Wait. So you went to Morocco.
Well, we had to get out.
How old were you?
Visa runs every 3 months. From forever.
Oh, you're living where then?
In Spain.
You're living in Spain.
Doing visa runs
so it's an English family. Let's just get this straight. Right? And clearly quite wealthy. And Dad's into racing cars. And at some point, I guess, during the Labour government, the family must have decided that 90% tax wasn't a great idea.
I think.
And moved to
us
where?
and many others.
Marbella? To Marbella, of course, yeah.
We didn't move there first. We did potter around Ireland and Switzerland.
Right, Ireland.
Ireland, yeah. Okay. Ireland was fabulous.
I remember reading a book. It was an autobiography of Peter Sellers, and bizarrely, your dad's name came up in the book because I think for a while he lived.
Next door neighbour.
He lived
above. Yeah. He lived above the stables.
Okay.
We lived in the East Wing.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the Norcanes lived in the main house.
So we're talking about we're talking about a pile, an English, Irish estate.
It's where Queen Victoria and Prince Albert went on their honeymoon.
Huh.
First flush toilet.
Wow.
Made by Wedgwood.
Okay.
Stuff like that, yeah, it was great, that house was...
Peter Sellers then was, you would have been how old at this point?
5, 6.
Okay.
He was married to Miranda Nuttall.
So do you remember sort of Peter, Mr. Sellers?
Very quiet, not very, unless he was doing his, goody gumdrops. No, it was quite quiet.
Right.
I knew his daughter.
Okay.
Veronica, I think. She was in the Heidi Fleiss case.
I just can't imagine Peter Sellers being quiet.
When he's not playing a character, very quiet.
Really?
Yeah, when not playing a character, yeah. Quite.
So then, the part...
Maybe he just didn't like kids.
Right, that's probably more like it, yeah.
Possible.
So you living on the pile in, I guess, somewhere, in West?
Just outside of Dublin.
Outside of Dublin?
Maynooth.
Right.
Carton House.
Right.
Carton House. It's where Marianne Faithfull came to dry out.
Okay.
In a cottage called Shell Cottage.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then in the driveway, we've got parked the...
back by the stables.
By the stables.
Don't park out the front.
Okay. There's the VW bus.
There's no. In Ireland we had the Bentley, I think. We had a
Bentley, right? Okay.
We had a Bentley. We had a 1964 Bentley.
Nice.
It was quite new because I think I was only 4, so I was only 4 years old or something.
Right.
So we had Bentleys, and what else did we have? back in the day, Dad...
Must have been a few sports cars.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did invest in Isogrifo and Lamborghini, right? But then Isogrifo went bust, which subsequently...
Became Lamborghini?
Made a big dent, and Dad didn't go into investing in cars
anymore. Right, okay.
And he stopped investing in dealerships, put it that way.
Right. Notoriously, high-end motor cars and stuff.
I did get to ride in a Lamborghini, I've got to say. Yeah.
Did you?
And back in the old day, beautiful.
Right. How about a Jensen Interceptor?
No, never.
No Jensen Interceptor?
Well, he might have done back in the day, right? Back in the day. I mean, his race cars were basically, the famous, when he did Phoenix Park in Ireland, that was the Mini.
Yeah.
He had an A40.
Right.
He had a Lotus. He had a Cobra.
Which Lotus, do you know?
No, I'm not.
Not really a car person myself, no.
I wouldn't know. I know Rupert, my cousin, would know.
Right.
I know, I have no clue.
I went to school with Colin Chapman.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, who famously owned Lotus and then famously invested or got into bed with the DeLorean.
Right, oops.
And who then famously got...
That would be a very heavy investment.
Busted with, how many kilos of cocaine was it?
Right.
Quite a few, I think. And Colin Chapman, I think he died, didn't he? Or did he kill himself? I can't remember. Anyway, his son was very nice. I went to school with him in Norwich, yeah.
And so then Norfolk. Tell us a bit more about you, Norfolk.
Well, my story's a bit sort of, I don't know, mixed up. In that my dad was in the Air Force, so I grew up overseas.
So which part of overseas did you grow up?
Well, West Africa, in Ghana.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I was there as a kid, only as a baby, really, and then I really grew up in Malaysia. Right. Yeah. So from sort of 4 until 8, I was running around the golf course and catching butterflies in Kuala Lumpur.
Army barracks.
No. Well, not really army barracks. I mean, there was certainly an estate of houses. Army base, if you like, and we lived in a bungalow on the base. And years later, I went back there. Still there. It's near the old airport. And I had a great time chasing the butterflies and it was just a miracle to be there as a kid, We had a sort of jungle at the back of our garden. It was just the things that were going on in the jungle would just would blow my mind, So then, from there, I was sent to boarding school in England, which was... anyway, you should read my book.
How old?
You should read my book. It's in my book. It's all in my book. Yeah.
Which book's that?
It's called... Thank you. It's called Eating the Wind. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's available on Amazon and Kindle. If you want.
And what give us a brief background?
Well, it's just my story. I don't really want to go into it because
ruin the surprise.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but it's it's about my story coming to Bali and as sort of the main character's bid for some kind of freedom outside of the corporate world, and then just sort of search.
Do you think that's still relevant today, the getting out of the corporate?
I think so. I mean, obviously more so than then. I mean, I was probably one of the very few that did it. Now, of course, everybody wants to be a global nomad, so that's what that is, Move to Canggu, learn to surf, spend your time as you want, and then, make money online, That's perfect kind of thing. That's what everybody's selling that dream, aren't they? So, yeah, I think it's really relevant.
But don't you think they're bringing the corporate with them, so to a certain extent?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I think you've had a couple of experiences, kind of, like in the last couple of years, where people actually look like they're on holiday, look like they're having a great time, but they're working there behind.
No names, no pack drill, but there are, there's a community of people who just, are more corporate than anybody ever met in corporate. Working as sort of global nomads and selling this dream to people, and actually they're the people. These people I've haven't seen anybody work as hard as they do. I mean, the longest hours, they just get up and they work all day, all night. They're dedicated to making money, and good on them. If that's what turns them on. But it's a bit odd that that kind of community does sell this dream of freedom, when in fact it's just another form of slavery, isn't it? Right. Let's be frank.
I think totally. I mean, I think it's people push each other too hard, too much, and always on and up. Where I think, and everyone should take time to breathe.
I think as we get older,
we've been really lucky. I think with Yak, we've been lucky. It's only 4 times a year, so four deadlines per se, and I think. The Yak. Let's talk about the Yak for a bit. Yeah, the Yak Magazine.
So I came in, I think, on sort of year 2 or 3 after you and
Mish had just left.
Shout out to Mish. Yeah,
Mish.
Yeah.
Hi, Mish.
Yeah.
Hello. How's the booster going?
Oh, good Lord, she's had COVID, haven't we all though?
Oh, what did and Novak Djokovic.
Oh God,
Djokovic.
yeah, tennis. Oh dear.
Novak.
Yeah.
It's not called COVID, right? Novak. That's happened.
Yeah, no comment. I think from this person.
Absolutely. Yeah. But the Yak. So yeah, you came in just at the right time, because could you imagine? I had to do one issue on my own.
Right.
No Mish, no you, and I was just going to say, okay, this is not going to last much longer, because it was like,
Yeah.
for me, it was basically going to be the Swan Song issue, right? And then I remember
that was
brother,
some Swan Song. That's 15 years ago. We did, you know.
Still singing today.
Good God.
And your brother came up to me and said that you might...
Shout out to Richard.
Richard,
Yeah.
Thanks Richard. Said that you wanted to, might want to... Well, I was definitely looking, he knew that, because obviously Mish was working with Richard.
Right.
And then he knew that you were coming up wanted to look for something in Bali, and that was perfect.
Yeah.
And it literally, I think that was in March. Was it? No, January. The party was in January, and I think you started work the next Monday and came out with that March issue. So
that's right. Yeah.
I only had to do that December, January, February issue.
Right.
I can't remember what that was on now. What was on the front cover? But we've had some good ones, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
66 issues, haven't we? 66.
Really? Is that what we did?
66 was the last one.
Right.
Obviously, that's not the last one. But
Right. 66 issues. Yeah. No, it was relentless, and I mean, brilliant.
Joyous and relentless.
Amazing, you know.
Joyous,
just great fun all the way around, you know. And then, but I think we really kicked off when Stuart. Shout out to Stuart.
Stu.
When Stewie got involved.
It's me, Stu.
Stuart Sullivan, the designer and creative director for the Yak, you know, he, I think when he came along, we really stepped it up, because he just brought this kind of, just the way things looked and stuff. Cheers, we're having a Bintang Crystal. This podcast is brought to you by Bintang Crystal.
But I think the nice thing about this Bintang Crystal, I've heard it's got not so many calories.
Well.
And it's definitely got alcohol, so...
Hey, you're in advertising. Cheers.
Cheers. Bintang Crystal. Thank you, UD.
Just a bit of radio silence there as we gulped our Bintang Crystal. Any other product placements?
For now, no. I mean, you know, I've got to say I'm really quite proud of Aqua, right? So I was an Aqua hater because of all the plastic. And that's actually rubbish, because I was an Aqua lover when it was run by Tivto Tomo, who was one of the people I met with at Japan Times.
Right.
And he created Aqua Gold in Mississippi. And that was the era that they used to pay pemulung, the garbage people, scavengers, I suppose you could call them. I think that's the wrong word for them, but the recycling people, let's call them that. They used to get paid for every big small aqua bottle, so there never used to be any rubbish.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point when they got bought out by a French yogurt company, Danone, and that all went by the wayside.
Because they didn't pay the 500 or 300 roots per bottle for recycling, really?
Yeah. And
that always gets me. I don't understand.
And I think more water companies came into being, which is so just...
But they were still, maybe just the price of recycling went down, but that always gets me with the beer companies, you know. Bintangs, to this day, if I put an empty Bintang bottle outside of my house, you know, on the street, within seconds, literally, it's gone, because you know you can get 1,500 rupiah per bottle, and there's usually a few bottles outside, so I have to not just the one. And but if I put another brand outside, for instance,
Absolute
like
Vodka
or Absolute Vodka. Well, the Absolute Vodka bottle usually goes for the petrol, right? We know that. But if you put another beer bottle outside, like Prost or Anchor, you know they're not paying.
You're not embarrassed to put Prost outside your door?
No, I'm not. But I'll drink anything, me. Yeah, apart from water. But they don't. I guess they don't pay the 500 or 1,000 rupiah per bottle. So they just sit there, and that just seems bizarre to me that they wouldn't want to recycle bottles, because surely there's a cost saving.
Wash them and use them.
Exactly. Yeah. And plastic. God, we're in Bali, of course. It's such a big issue, you know, and there's some people doing some great work, but there's still, you know, when the rain comes, you know, we just get this tide of waste, don't we, on the beaches and down the rivers and stuff, you know.
And and people do have a thing, it's all from Java, funnily enough.
It's not, no.
It is.
Well, maybe, is it from the...
Gary's just been there.
Oh, really, from the sea, you mean, on the beaches and stuff?
A lot, obviously a lot's from Bali as well, let's not pretend, let's not try and run away from that one, but there is quite a lot of waste that goes into rivers in Java. So right now, Gary, our great mate Gary from Make a Change World, with his Sungai watch.
Shout out to Gary.
Hi Gary. He's in East Java.
Is he?
He's actually what do we call? He's just checking out those rivers to see exactly how much rubbish is coming, what kind of rubbish is coming. And funny enough, the video he put yesterday, a lot of them are school caps. Weird, right? Right. Kids losing their school cap in the river.
Oh, you mean the hat?
The hat, the caps, they're the school. So he knows exactly which school is there from.
Really?
He had like...
Or maybe there's like some graduation thing where they all chuck their hats into the river or something.
Could be, but he literally he found a lot of caps.
It's quite, I mean, we're not going to go on about it, but it's still quite frustrating for many of us just to see the government doing so little, and only when they're shamed into doing stuff, you know. And we're not political too much, but it's just...
I think it's education. I think you need to be able to sort it at source, which is your own house, right? So put your plastic in your plastic, paper in your paper.
Earn money from it as well. I'd have thought that'd be...
I mean, you can eco-Bali. I mean, eco-Bali recycling. I pay them, $1 million a year. It's $100, and I just, they come every week. Yeah. Shout out to eco-Bali recycling. Thank you, Paola. You've been amazing for so many years. They come every week and pick up and they put one for paper and one for plastics and tins, and that's and washed obviously, and then the rest I've got a new guy called the Urban Compost. Yeah. And so I put my... There's
some people doing incredible things. So who's the guys doing the rivers that do these quite simple contraptions that go across the rivers?
That's Gary Benchkeep.
That's Gary.
That's Gary from Sungai Watch.
Yeah.
We should sponsor one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd like to see significant written across all of them.
Yes, actually. The significant. What would we call it?
Significant.
What?
Just the logo.
The floating significant.
Well, no, because it's already it's just because it is right. You just paint significant on the catch.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
On the whatever they're called. Levies.
So what else have you been up to since the big C arrived?
Oh, what have I been up to?
I mean, you've been doing. You're always so busy. That's what I find about you've always got something on the go, and involved with something, some movement or this, that, and the other. What's this women in business?
Oh, the women investment community.
Oh, women investment community.
The WICs or the Wikis.
Okay, shout out to the Wikis.
Wikis, yeah. And we're going to have an informal meeting soon with the lovely Nikki Kasapian.
Right.
And she's going to teach us about communication.
Okay.
Because women in business, it was so seldom actually that women have their own business.
Is it, when you say women, is it Indonesian women or everybody?
Everybody, just international, Indonesian, all walks of life, obviously all age groups, all businesses. Okay. I think the aim is I was actually looking at the invite list of how many women I knew that had their own business.
Yeah. Not that many?
Not that many.
Really?
I mean, you've got the smaller pockets that have just started, which is a lot in fashion.
Right.
A lot in fashion. So we've got fashion designers, but we're talking about business that have actually started a business. Apart from Sukma, we've got Sukma, we've got...
Shout out to Sukma.
Hi, Sukma.
Yeah, she has a great business investment consultancy, right?
Yeah, solutions company, absolutely. For tax, HR, human resources and stuff like that. She's amazing.
But then you've got, Bamboo Blonde, obviously, and then... Helen Milne and
fashion
the
side.
Fashion.
Let's take fashion.
Take away the fashion. Let me think of somebody who's
take away the fashion.
Nilu, and even Nilu is delighted to shoes, but even though she's political now.
Do you know a female restaurant owner? No.
Okay.
Female hotel owner, except.
Well, what about the female restaurant owner? Surely would be the place where you go for tea and cakes.
Asri from Biku.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
10 points there.
Yeah, but she's kind of busy. She's already in business.
Shout out to Asri.
Hi Asri. Love Biku, by the way.
Biku's fantastic.
The chicken pie.
Well, just the sort of teas, afternoon teas are mind blowing, aren't they? Yeah.
Women in business. As you said, you come up with one name.
Or Sophie Digby.
Well, that's obviously, and there's Tina. Tina's got her.
Tina Hardy.
Yeah. But if you look around, I think there was like 30 other.
Really?
Yeah, not many. A few have gone home, remember? We've got quite a few that went.
Yes, the exodus, the diaspora. Yeah, a lot of people have have just left the island, haven't they? Because there's just nothing going on, and
education's shut. Education's difficult, so you might as well go home and get a decent education.
Yeah.
If you live in England.
Yeah.
Or Europe or whatever.
Yeah. Plus, you can sign on the dole, you know.
Yeah. Well, you get furloughed or something.
You get furloughed.
Money for something.
Furloughed, gosh. We wish. In my dreams,
right.
I get furloughed.
Pocket money.
Yeah.
For doing nothing. But anyway, tell us a bit more, because you know, obviously with the Yak, we downsized for the moment, only for the moment.
Yeah.
But we did go on what we call it that fasting regime.
Right, a bit of fasting,
Bit of fasting. So obviously, you know, there's a few of us still in the office. You kind of went home and decided that you needed to do something. So what did you do, and how did that come about?
I did a lot of gardening for a while, and then I continued to drink beer while gardening. So I got my tennis racket out and used to hit the ball against the wall. And I did that for a few weeks, and I just thought, well, I can't do this. So I mean, naturally, I'm a writer, so I started writing again. And
what were you writing?
I wrote the book Eating the Wind, available on Amazon.
So what was the thing that pushed you over the edge to actually write the book?
Well, because I just had the time, you know. I mean, it's something I'd started a while ago, and I'd put away, you know. My daughter came along, and that suddenly.
Where did you find it?
I actually, you know, literally, I'd put it in a plastic container. A large plastic container along with everything else, and there are many versions of it, you know, thousands and thousands of words, many versions printed out and stapled and all the rest of it, and they were just up there above, above the wardrobe, on top of the wardrobe. And
so was it decluttering? Was it decluttering?
Well, no, I went to find it.
Right.
You know, it was calling to me. It called to me, and got the massive thing down and dusted it off. Looked at it, and then spent the next 5 months basically putting it together and making it work, which was an interesting process.
So I was going to say, because you went away, didn't you? You went to get like some silent time or some away time.
I did some. I mean, of course. You know, if you're going to write, you do need a bit of space and distance from your normal reality, if you like. So. No, I went to stay with my good friend Ian Ross Smith. Shout out to Ian Ross Smith.
Hi, Ian.
Yay, IRS.
Isn't that the end of
his initials? Yeah, his initials, IRS. He runs a rehab company now, very good one in Bali and in Barbados and in Ibiza.
What's it called?
God, you got to put me on the spot now. He's going to listen to this. I hope he never. I'm so sorry, Ian. I can't remember the name.
Because you did a good job.
I'll have to look it up. Yeah.
Because there's a couple now, aren't there? There's a couple of kind of like good places.
Yeah. I can't just straight away mention this competition. That would be just awful. You know?
Yes, do.
So I've got to.
Is there a competition?
No, absolutely there is. Yeah, of course there's. There's a few.
Answers on a postcard, people. What is the name of Ian Ross Smith's fabulous centre that helps us get off the stuff we get sometimes hooked on?
He's just going to kill me. Absolutely kill me. Yeah. But it's just vanished from my head. It's a very luxury, high end thing. Anyway, IRS. So he does a luxury high-end.
The Places Retreat, not that one, because that's
no. He does high end. It's very anonymous and for sort of celebrities and very kind of public people. Anyway, we're going to move on because I'm not.
So one second.
Yeah.
So you were there writing your book
at the rehab? No. No, I just.
So I was going to say you must have written.
No.
You didn't drink. You didn't write it on beer.
No, I did, but no, I wasn't actually at his rehab facility. I'm just saying he runs a rehab business, and
I think very necessary actually in Bali, because I think sometimes there's I mean, where would you go? Because here, it's one lives in cloud cuckoo land anyway, right? And we're all a little bit Peter Pan, so sometimes to have to address that, it must be quite hard.
It is, of course, and I mean, I'm not saying we've all been there, but I've certainly, been there. But God, I'm just looking for it here. Where the hell is it? It doesn't. Ah, no, that's not it, is it? There's a lot in Bali actually. When you look, when you actually Google stuff, there's loads of them. Yeah, but none of them come. He really needs to work on his SEO. You know, he needs more blogs. Yeah,
right, obviously. Because
I know a writer.
I think most people don't want to write about
their
their time in rehab, right? I think that's probably the kind of
no, but
challenge.
the companies, of course, need content to write about. Right. You know, and as we know,
because there is one. It's called something like Dream something. There was one called Richard, who was my next door neighbour, 3 doors up.
Right.
And he's been sober for like 20 years or 25 years, and he's got a rehab centre.
Yeah. No, there's a few famous ones.
Hi Richard. Sorry, I can't remember.
Shout out to Richard. But no, IRS is, I think, the most interesting one, and I've finally found the name. It's called Istana Jiwa.
Istana Jiwa, so the Soul Palace.
The Soul Palace.
The Palace of Your Soul.
Yeah,
right? Interesting.
Yeah. And he does.
Where is that?
Well, they say they sort of rent high-end villas and then they deal only with one person at a time. And then they fly in they set up their team and they fly in, you know, the nutritionist, the psychiatrist, and the this and the that, you know. And he does that in Bali, and he also does that in Barbados, where he tells me he's got an extremely famous person, but he of course can't tell me who it is, even though I've been.
It's obviously not Rihanna, because she is from Barbados, you know, Rihanna.
No, I don't think
Rihanna, but it wouldn't be her.
Is she Barbadian?
She's Barbadian.
Or right, okay.
She's Barbadian.
Yeah. Well, it could be. But we're guessing. We're not saying that Rihanna's a drug addict.
No, of course she isn't.
No.
I don't think you can have that job and be one.
No, our lawyers will be cutting that bit out. You know.
I think what's going to happen is when you work that hard, I don't think you really can spend the time. I think it's when you've got to the top and you come down.
Yeah.
That's probably the dangerous bit.
Well, it's all dangerous. And then
that's why Zen doesn't want to be famous.
Okay, Zen, your son.
Zen, shout
out to Zen. Yeah.
And your fabulous Island Child video by Gosha.
Right.
See it on Spotify, hear it on Spotify, see it on YouTube.
So he does that, and then by Beath, and then there's a bunch. There's the one called Calm, I think, which is quite famous as well here. And how do we get into talking about drugs and rehab?
Well, basically because you ran away to Ian Smith's house to write your book.
So I went to see Ian, and I stayed in this sort of small house, a bit like Peter Sellers on your pile, you know.
Right.
And I was just
above the stables.
I was there. Well, I was somewhere near the stables, I think. Yeah. and I stayed there for a week or two, and it, you know, just kind of laid all my bits of paper out and stuck it all together and got on with it. And then, and then
That process was it cathartic?
It is when you finished it, yeah. But at the time, it's really painful and difficult.
And painful? Why?
Because it's a lot of hard work.
Is it a confidence thing?
No,
Are people
it's
going to
just
like it or
no.
not like it? It's
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, just putting yourself out there in a book, you know, is terrifying.
Right, because the printed word never goes anywhere, right? It stays.
Well, it's there on the page, you know.
Yeah,
there on the page. Anyway, check out
my
my book.
You can't deny it, right?
It's called
Eating the Wind.
Eating the Wind, yeah, Makan Angin, and it's available on Amazon.
So are you quite happy with the feedback you've been getting? Because you've been getting some really nice. In fact, you're big. You're going to have to print it bigger just to put the comments on the back.
Yeah,
page, right?
No, people have been very kind. I think the book's doing well. Yeah.
And number 2. Is it in the offing?
Yeah, the number 2 is I'm doing it now. I'm into that. You know, the sort of later years about Singapore and jail and about that's another story, and about drugs and about God. You know, which is weird. I'd be writing about God in Singapore rather than God in Bali. Do you know what I mean? God, or what? When I say God, I mean whatever it is you want to call it. You know, the thing that's outside the window, and that's the name of the book. It's called The Thing Outside the Window. Yeah. So yes, I'm getting on with that.
And delivery date, drop date.
I'm going to need another year, I think.
Another year.
Yeah. Just knowing that.
I think it's nice also to give this book the legs it's going to have and let it run across the world, because right now I think, you know, Bali's quite the launch pad for it's been great, right? The platform's been amazing at Bali, and it's about Bali, so it's about connecting with a few book clubs, I imagine.
Well, yes, and it's all this SEO and marketing, you know, nonsense that we have to get on with and become global nomads and all the rest of it, because that's where it's at. Anyway, I think we're out of time, Sophie Digby. It's been fantastic to sit. We could just do this all day, couldn't we? Until the beer runs out, and then
somebody bring some food.
Yeah, and then we'd be. But it's been absolutely brilliant to know you and work with you for the last 10 2 decades or so. And fantastic to talk to you today.
Absolutely lovely, and I'm really, really, really excited to get Significant.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
See you later. Bye.